Hi, guys. Welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host, Nicole. I hope everybody had an amazing week. Thank you so much for coming back. All right, this episode's really special. This one I already just feel is going to be amazing. Also, just quick interruption. This episode is sponsored by TLF Apparel. You guys know, whenever you ask me what I'm wearing, it's TLF. I love TLF. The fabric's amazing. It's breathable. They have the cutest sets. So good. So good. They have the perfect little butt scrunch. I love TLF. Passionate about them. I love that they want to sponsor this podcast because they're a brand that I truly wear every single day. And you can wear it too. Use my code TLF-NIKKID, NIKKID, to get money off of your order. And yeah, so thank you, TLF, for sponsoring this episode. Honestly, you guys have been commenting on my Instagram or like sending me messages, DMing me, commenting on my TikToks and stuff that like I have just been glowing and radiating and you see so much growth. And like somebody said that I seem so peaceful, like and at peace. And you guys have just been noticing like a shift in me, and I love that you guys are noticing that and feeling that from my content, because I genuinely have never felt this amazing, this myself, this light, this happy, this peaceful, like calm, this sense of purpose in so long. I don't think actually ever. I want to say ever. Like I don't think I've ever been this in tune with myself and this open before. I truly feel so happy. I think back to like some of you guys have seen me go through so much. You guys have seen me cry on the internet. You guys have seen me go through really bad dates and really bad men and really traumatic experiences and just like bad friendships and all the things. The fact that you guys have grown with me and that you've seen me get through all of that, and I've shared all of that with you, and I present to you the person that I am today. It's just really amazing. Like, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of you guys because I know that we're all growing together. I know we're all going through this together, and I know that we can all relate. And it just makes me feel so good that you guys can see that growth and that I can look at that and be like, wow, like you did that, Nicole. Like you've really put in the work. You've really grown. And I'm really proud of myself for that. I'm not trying to brag. Like I genuinely am just so happy that I'm this version of me now because I get to share this with you guys. And I get to help you guys grow and be the big sister or the influence or just somebody else in your life who you have every single week and every single day, every single week on Girl Therapy and every single day on TikTok, on Instagram, all that stuff. Like it makes me feel really honored that I have you guys listening and tuning in and that I get to impact your life. That I will forever be grateful for. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. Today's episode is going to be about being in alignment with ourselves, being our highest frequency, being our highest potential, and, you know, learning to connect again and be open again and be vulnerable again, because in vulnerability, there's community. I think like when a lot of you guys ask how to be successful on social media or how have you grown so much or whatever, it's like, I'm able to do that because I told myself it was okay to open up. I pushed past my fear of rejection and I dismissed my ego, and I really just said, I'm open to anything, and I am letting go of the weight, the burden of all the stuff that I've been carrying. And I'm just like trusting in my faith and God, honestly, and myself again, my intuition, my soul, and really just searching for like a deep soul connection. And I think that starts with yourself. And because I've been able to find myself again and find my purpose and find my happiness, I have been able to connect even deeper with you guys. And I think by being more yourself, by being more real, that's how you find the people that you're supposed to be surrounded by, that you're supposed to go through this life with. That's how you find your community. And that's how we all relate to each other and grow from one another. You guys would never grow if I didn't open up on the internet. I would never grow if I didn't open up to you guys. And I think it's so important that like, yes, I can sit here and open up to you guys, and maybe that'll unlock something in you. But unless you are going out in the world and opening up to the people around you, opening up to new friendships, opening up to new opportunities, opening up to new relationships and people who are good for you, and understanding that the people who are good for you are going to stick around in your life, and the people who are not are going to be removed from your life, whether you like it or not. And to just surrender to that is the most beautiful thing. I really want you guys to know that it's okay to be open and vulnerable, and that is how you are going to reach your highest potential and be the best version of yourselves, so that you can all grow and change and evolve and find your happiness and your peace. So, that being said, I was just in yoga a couple days ago. You guys know I love yoga. If you don't know, I love yoga. I go all the time. What I love about the practice is a lot of what is said in class or practiced in class can be applied to your everyday life. And I always pick up on little things that the instructors say, and I'm like, wow, okay. Like, one of my favorite things is like, if you're wobbling or if you're shaking, you're balancing. And turbulence is normal. And that goes through life. Like, if you're going through the ups and downs, you're living, you're going through it, you're experiencing life, you're getting to the other end of it. Sometimes we fight for our lives, like, but then that is us surviving, that is us changing, that's us evolving, growing, getting stronger. And then we get to the other end. So sometimes in class, my instructors will give us like a card to pull. And I always take these things very seriously. I pulled the card. I'm like, clearly this is speaking to something inside of me. So I pulled this card and it said, I know that pure joy is a result of being in alignment with my soul. I am true to myself. And I was like, wow, because I've just been feeling that way recently. I've realized that like my happiness that you guys are all noticing, like my joy, my glow, it's not that I'm doing something different. It's not that I'm doing my makeup different. It's that I'm putting so much love and care into myself. The more that I pour into myself, the more I become aligned with myself. Like, the more true I am to myself, the more in line with my soul that I am, which is then aligning me with other people who are amazing and just things that are really great. And I saw this card and I was like, yes, I am in alignment with myself. Then for that class, I was like, let me test and see how much I really trust myself. Like, let me see how aligned I really am, because I take class every single day. I know the movements. I can just listen to the instructor and know where I have to go. My body knows. But sometimes we get in our heads and we're like, is that what they said? Or someone does something else and we're like, wait, did I do that wrong? Or we start to think about other things and then you miss a move. So I was like, let me test myself. And I did the class with my eyes closed, which is hard. It's really hard to balance with your eyes closed, because a lot of the times in a lot of the balances, you have to find a spot on the ground to find your balance. And it feels a little bit silly closing your eyes. If you have a good instructor, like, you should be able to do the entire class with your eyes shut. There's no reason to look around. There's nothing changing in the room. There's nothing new there. It's not about like looking good in the mirror. It's just about following your intuition and moving in a way that feels right for you and good for you. I did about 85% of the class with my eyes closed, I want to say. There's some things that I had to open my eyes and like make sure, sometimes I get nervous. I'm like, let me make sure I'm on my mat, not somebody else's, which I wasn't. I was right where I left myself. And I was able to do most of the class with my eyes shut. And I was like, wow, I can trust myself. I know exactly where I'm going and where I'm supposed to go. And my body knows exactly what it's supposed to do. And if something feels wrong, then it's wrong. But if something feels right, then it's right. That was just kind of something that I wanted to share with you guys, and how, I don't know if you practice yoga, if you do it a lot too, maybe try a class with your eyes closed. Trust yourself. Or even if you're not doing a class, if you're just like flowing alone, close your eyes, see if you can do it. And it was kind of just like a fun little game to play with myself. I really want to just talk about like getting in touch with our souls, getting in touch with other people's souls, trusting our intuition, which is something that I've definitely talked about before. And just like being the highest version of yourself, the highest frequency, and like learning to communicate in a way that's vulnerable, again, to create community, because that is definitely something that I think we all severely lack, especially if you are watching the new Love Island. I'm watching Love Island USA. You guys told me to watch it, and oh my God, the girls even are a mess. The girls can't communicate, the guys can't communicate. It's like, it's madness. It's driving me insane. The girls are self-sabotaging. I'm only on like episode 6 or 7. Whatever. So anyways, intuition is the language of your highest self. And I think why some of us are unable to reach the highest version of ourselves, or, grow or unlock a new, potential or something like that, is because we are ignoring our intuition. And we've been taught to ignore our intuition for whatever reason. The more that you listen to it, the more that you're going to be able to become in touch with yourself and the things that are right for you, and become aligned with the things that are right for you. I kind of want to speak about Giraffe Man really quickly. This is kind of random, but I just had me thinking recently. If you guys know, I went on a date with this guy. Call him Giraffe Man because he brought me to a giraffe park. Really thoughtful like date, honestly. But I will say there was something about him, and it's not that he wasn't a nice guy. It's not that he wasn't a gentleman. It's not that he was handsome, very financially stable, secure, looking for a relationship, emotionally available, all these things. But when I met him, I kind of knew, I'm not gonna lie, like, he's not my person. I think we got along really well as friends. And when I found out that he was romantically interested in me from the get-go, we made that very clear. And he asked me out on a date, and I said yes, because I was like, you know what, this guy is a good guy, and let me just see in a romantic setting if this could be something, because we'd been hanging out as friends, like in a group of friends. But like, when I have to say let's see, that's when I'm kind of like, it's probably not there. Honestly, that's just how I am. Like, I'm somebody who, like, when I know, and that's with everything in my life. Like, I was just actually thinking about this yesterday. Sorry, my stories always derail 1,000 different ways, but it's like, I'm a very passionate person. When I like somebody, something, I know, they know, it's very clear. You guys know. I am working on being a little bit more private with a few things, but I will say, like, when it's something that I want to share, I share it. Me starting to go to church again, like, a lot of people were like, wow, like, I love that you're so open with sharing your faith. Like, I think a lot of people struggle with sharing that because it's either embarrassing, or they're scared of judgment, or people won't like them, or people will be like, oh wow, like, she's like, whatever, weird church girl, weird God girl. But it's like, it's something that I believe in, and it's something that I really like and I'm passionate about, and I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm going to share it. If there's something I like, you guys know. Same goes for me and the people that I like. Friends, I'll know immediately. Like, if you're going to be, how close of a friend you're going to be, I know right away. Romantic partners, I know. Our guts know. You know. Like, you know when somebody's right for you. You know when somebody's not good for you. There's times when I ignore that and I want that person to be right for me, but I know that they're not right for me. And then I get, involved in a lot of shit, which is a lot. You guys saw a lot of that. Like, a lot of the heartbreaks that I went through was just me ignoring my intuition. And I think, like, I went on that date with Giraffe Man, and he did all these things. And I shared the story time where I was in the park and he pulled out this set of cards and he was like, let's get vulnerable. Like, I love going deep. I'll go deep with you guys. I'll share things with you guys if it's stuff that I am offering up. Like, I have no problem putting my shit out there. I do that constantly. But when somebody is almost in a way digging it out of you, or you just don't want to open up or share something with that person, or you want to keep something more lighthearted, and they're kind of forcing it, it's a big turnoff. And like, he brought out this card game and it was asking really intimate questions, and it's a lot, like, on a first date to, like, we just spent a couple hours together, now this, and now we're in like this park, and I'm trying to be cute, but I'm also sweating, and like, he's wanting to like go deeper, and I'm just like, I don't want to go deeper. Like, I don't want to talk about my traumas with you. I don't want you to fix me. Like, I don't want you to try to heal me right here where there's geese shit on the floor. Like, I'm trying to eat my sushi. That being said, it's like, I didn't want to open up to him because I knew he wasn't the right person. If he was the right person, I think I 100% would have been comfortable opening up to him. and sharing that side of me with him and just wanting to go deeper with that person. And I think because I knew he wasn't the one, it was just kind of like, why are we going through all this? Like, this is unnecessary. And for me, thinking from his perspective, it's like, you have to also know as a guy when a girl isn't the one either. Like, I think guys, we always say, like, know immediately. Like, a guy will go on a date and he'll know a lot of the stories, like the guys are like, oh, I like first date, I knew she was going to be my wife. I knew she was going to be my girlfriend. I knew I was going to propose to her. I knew what I wanted to do with her. There's some guys who go on a date and he'll be like, yeah, she's just somebody who I want to hook up with. Yeah, there's no potential there. Like, guys know very early on, just as we do, what we want with somebody. And I think girls, we ignore our intuition a little bit and we like want to make it work because he's like hot or tall and 6'5", finance, whatever. But the guys don't really ignore their intuition. It's like, oh yeah, she's hot, we're just gonna hook up with her, not gonna date her. And like, so I have to think like, Giraffe Man probably knew, like he was probably getting those vibes that like I wasn't interested, but I don't think that his ego could handle that. So it was like, let me try to like get really deep with this girl really I'm really serious right now. Like, let me try to get deep with this girl really quick to make her almost feel a type of way about me or feel drawn towards me or feel an emotional connection. Because why would you want to like, I don't know, put somebody in that uncomfortable position? Like, if it was just gonna like come naturally, it would have came naturally. And I think like he wanted to force something to happen, and that's like how it translated. And let's just say it didn't work out well in his favor. But like, if he was not like aware of where I was at, which I don't think that like, I'm pretty sure like he had to have known, then it was like, then he was just not open to accepting his intuition and not like in touch with the highest version of himself. I think when you are like in touch with yourself, in tune with yourself, you're also going to be in tune with a lot of like the frequencies and the things happening around you. I just wanted to like go back and kind of like evaluate that situation, because there's somebody in my life now who I am really like open with, and I've never felt this comfortable being open and like allowing somebody in a really long time. And like, I feel really secure and comfortable. I feel like I can't wait to open up more and like do more for this person than I've ever been willing to do for anybody previously. And not in terms of like, like services. Like, yes, like I think like my love language is acts of service, and I haven't felt comfortable being vulnerable enough to like do stuff for somebody knowing that it's equally reciprocated. I'm not doing it in a way of like, I want your attention or I want to gain your love. I'm doing it in a way of like, I want to do this for you because I care about you, and this is how I show that I care. And they are making me feel safe to do so because I know that it's reciprocated. And it makes me so happy that I've gotten to a place where I am comfortable again being open and vulnerable with somebody, because for a while I thought that I'd forgotten how, or I thought that I didn't know how to do that, or that I would never feel that way again. It's just really special. And whether or not this becomes something, I don't care. I do care. Well, no, I don't care. But like, not that I don't care, but it's like I have a special like appreciation, or I feel really happy that this was is somebody in my life right now, because they've made me realize that this is possible for me again. And like I said, whether or not it ends up being something, it's like, it's a beautiful thing for me to see the growth and the fact that like I have the ability to be vulnerable with somebody again. Because Giraffe Man made me feel a little crazy there for a minute, as I was like, am I really this closed off? And maybe I was at that time. And I think like I've really put a lot of self-love in and work in, and I feel comfortable now with if there is the right person in front of me, that I will be able to give them the full and best version of myself that I can. And I won't, I trust myself that I won't self-sabotage something. So yeah. Okay. That being said, I want to also jump into, some of you guys saw my TikTok potentially. On Sundays, I go to VU and I take a lot of notes at church because it's always just amazing and there's always something to gain. And we talked about, it was a lot about frequencies and human frequencies and connecting in words, and how words are really powerful and we have the ability to create or destroy with our words. And words, were created for us to have conversation, to converse, to get to know each other, to get deeper, to communicate. Like, words were created so that we could be tighter knit as a community. Like, words were created so we could communicate. Okay, we can use words for good or we can use words for bad, and words can either bring us closer or further away, and words have the ability to reveal us or to conceal us, depending how you use them. And what that means is, like, we can hide behind our words a lot of the times. Somebody asks us how we are, how our day was. Oh, it was good. Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever. Like, we put a mask on a lot of the times because either it's not the right time to open up to somebody or it's not the right person to open up to, which is totally fine. But I think when you're hiding your real feelings or who you really are, what's really going on from every single person, from everybody, even from yourself sometimes, our brain's telling us things that maybe aren't exactly what we're feeling. That's when it becomes dangerous, and that's when you're limiting yourself, and that's when you are limiting your ability to connect with people around you or help the people around you too, who maybe they say something with their words and you are just listening with your ears and you're like, well, they said they're good, so they're good. But it's like, did you feel that? Are we listening to that person's soul? Are we connecting to that person's soul? Are we in touch with our intuition enough to know there's something not okay with that person, or there's something not okay with us? Being vulnerable is what is relatable. Perfection's not relatable. Let's just use social media as an example. You follow your favorite influencer, everything's looks amazing on their stories and they look so happy on their posts and all this stuff. And it's like, they're always looking perfect. They never have a breakout. They don't even sweat when they work out. Like, they have no bad hair days. Little do you know that person might be putting on this perfect front because that's what they think you want to see. That's what they think looks good, and that's what they think that people are following them for. And that's really sad. People who can't, just be themselves. But when they do that, they're closing themselves off to, like, a deeper connection with a community, and they're hiding what's really going on with them. And then they're becoming less relatable. Like, I can't stand to follow people or to have friends in my life who are trying to be perfect or put on this front that they are perfect, like, in a way that's really shallow. Actually, that is shallow. Like, if somebody's just constantly pretending like everything's fine or saying everything's fine or acting like they have no problems in their life, that doesn't, like, make me feel connected to you. And it almost, like, strips you of your humanity in a way. I think that's why a lot of people think that it's okay to, like, attack people on the internet or attack people who are, like, really, pretty and put together out in public, because it kind of, like, makes them not relatable, makes them not like you. When somebody's not like you and you can't relate to them, you can destroy them in a way. Like, you don't care to have any empathy for something that isn't relatable or real. Just, like, as a little example too for that, I listened to this sermon online. I can't remember the guy's name. Jordan sent it to me, actually. I love that me and Jordan's relationship I mean, we've already had an amazing friendship, but I feel like I just told her yesterday, I was like, our friendship's even deeper now that because she's religious, and now we get to share God together, and you know, she gets to share stuff that went on at her church, and I share stuff at mine, and she shares sermons with me and stuff like that. So it's just like connected us even deeper. But she sent me this one. His name is Robert Madu. Yeah, I think it was his. I want to say it was him. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Don't quote me. But basically he was just saying how like people, or allegedly saying if it was him, present ourselves like a little wrapped up present. Like picture me handing you something. If you're not watching this right now, if you are, I'm putting my hand out there. This is me. I'm presenting myself with a little present, and I look perfect and wrapped up and gorgeous. And then with my other arm, and I can't use it because I'm holding the microphone, I'm holding stuff behind my back. And that's like my shit. That's my dirt. That's all the stuff that comes with also me, but I'm not going to put that out there. So it's like we're putting something out there, but then we're hiding all these other parts of ourselves that are bad. And I think that we've lost the ability, or we're scared. Like when you're hiding your shit for so long, it's scary to present that, to be like, oh, hey, this is the real me. Like I've been saying I'm this way, but I have all this shit going on. Like that's a surprise, you know, like surprise motherfucker, except all of me. And I think that is really scary. And we've lost, you know, that feeling of community to feel open to people because we presenting ourselves as so perfect for so long. It's really sad. It's sad. I think like being vulnerable was shown, or is shown, to be weak, especially in men. Like being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. And I'm not saying you have to cry and, you know, be upset every day. I'm not saying that by any means, or like that you always have to have a problem. But when there's like times where we're not feeling great, or we, you know, experience something even good, you know, it doesn't have to be bad shit either. It's like, I could not share the amazing things that I think about and, you know, share the sermons and share, you know, stuff that the revelations that I have on the daily. I could choose not to share those positive things on the internet because I'm afraid that I might look, you know, stupid, or I might say something wrong, or maybe you won't agree with me, or maybe I'll just look like a crazy person, which I do a lot of the times, and that's okay. You know, I think people are also like afraid of people who are really happy sometimes, because it's like, ew, like what? That's an ick, or what are they doing, or why are they so this? Why are they so that? Like I could choose not to, you know, share those things, but then it's not me being vulnerable and open to allow you guys to come into my world and relate to me, and for us, our worlds to collide and connect. Like that's what I love most about my job. And I think I don't only just do that on the internet. And I think I was doing that for a really time just on the internet because that was safe. And now that I've really put a lot of work in, I'm working on being more open and in tune with the people around me. I'm not being afraid to voice to people, you know, I think like what you just said was so special, or what you just said, you know, really resonated with me, or like I really see you working really hard and blah, 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 or, you know, being like, oh, like you had a bad day, let me do this for you because I care about you. Like really being more vocal about how I feel about the people in my life has really changed my relationships for the better, and also just changed me for the better, and I think changed the people around me for the better, because I've shown I appreciate you and I can voice that, and I feel really comfortable with you to voice that, and there's nothing embarrassing about me sharing how I feel about you, so then that person can say it back to me, and we've kind of had this like even exchange where now my friendships were so close and bonded. And even with just strangers on the internet, or just strangers who I meet in person, I'm really making more of an effort to like make them feel something when I talk to them, and make them feel really welcome and like they know me, and just like, this is safe. It's safe for you to be here. It's safe for you to speak to me right now. And let's connect in this minute or 2 or 3 that we get to experience each other. And I think when you shed that light onto somebody, they then are going to take that and spread it to other people and feel really good, and like to spread the positive vibes. And that's just like how I've been feeling recently. I've just felt really close to everybody who I get to encounter throughout the day. And I think that that is also really special, instead of being closed off and kind of like, bleh, like, not wanting to speak to anybody. Talking about like the people who I encounter and the people who surround me in my friendships, I think that because I am so in tune with who I am right now, I'm attracting the right people. I'm surrounded by all the right people. And it's so important when you are, the highest version of yourself, or you're trying to level up or function on a high frequency constantly, is that you surround yourself with people who see you and appreciate you and can bring you higher or keep you at that same frequency. You need people around you who remind you of your expanded self, who remind you of your growth and how far you've come, and see that, and can make sure to keep you in check. Because just because I'm feeling great, just because I've done all this growth and change, and just because we are evolving and might not be the same person that we were years ago, doesn't mean that we're not going to have our moments, and we're going to have our low points and downs. Still have my downs, still have times when I'm like, wait a damn minute, who am I? What did I like, have I really changed? Panic, inner panic. There's times when I'm questioning myself. And it's at those times that I rely heavily on the people around me to be like, hey, Nicole, wait, let me remind you of who you are, and people who really feel good, who make me feel good. And I can then, trust them that, first of all, I know that what they're saying is true, and also pour into me a little bit, and not in a way that's I'm taking from them, because I think I give to my friends as well, but in a way that it's I'm depleted right now. Maybe you can just help remind me and wash over me for a minute, so I can get back up to who I know myself to truly be. Yeah, you just need people who remind you of your greatness and see your greatness. And I heard this on a podcast. I was listening to this wonderful lady called Maury Fontanes, and she said something that I thought was beautiful. And she said, the people around you should be fountains, not drains. And I was like, wow, I've never heard it that way. I've heard of people draining you. I've heard of filling your cup, not filling your cup, whatever. But I've never thought of the people around you should be fountains and not drains. I never thought of it from that way, where it's are they reminding you of your expanded self? Are they making you bigger and better and all the things? Or are they draining you and depleting you and belittling you or making you feel down or anything like that? So look at the people around you and be like, are you a fountain? Are you a drain? Start checking in. And that really comes down to again, being in tune with yourself and in touch with your intuition, being how do I feel when I leave this person? How do I feel when I leave this encounter? Do I feel better? Do I feel worse? Do I feel exhausted? Do I feel like that person just, put some self-limiting beliefs on me? Do I feel like that person just shut me down? Do I not feel inspired? Really take a look at those people around you. And the next thing, while I say, is also about people around me and why I think I've been so happy recently, is because not only am I think when you're functioning on a higher frequency, and when you're really in touch with yourself, you are making high frequency decisions. You are making decisions for your greater good. You are making decisions in the best interest of yourself. And high frequency decisions mean doing things that are benefiting you, things that are filling you up, things that are making you better. I feel high frequency decisions for me recently have just been first of all, sticking to my workout routine, all this stuff, going to the gym, that's a high frequency decision. Going to yoga every day, high frequency decision. That's something that is bettering me. That is something that's making me feel good about myself. Going to church, is that a high frequency decision? Yes. Going out to eat with my friends and hang out with them who make me feel good, is that a high frequency decision? Absolutely. My biggest change, not biggest, because it's not I was a crazy drinker, wild partier before, but it's I've really not felt the need to drink alcohol at all in the last, I think it's been 2 months or so, and saying no to that has also been a high frequency decision for me, because I look at it and I'm are you going to make me better? Not me talking to the alcohol. But I'm is this adding to my life? Is this making me a better person? Is this strengthening my friendships? Is this strengthening my relationship with myself? And I look back in the past, a lot of the times alcohol hasn't brought me to the highest version of myself, hasn't made me feel the best version of myself. So a high frequency decision for me recently has just been saying no. Can I have a glass of wine and not be completely derailed? Of course. I don't have, I've never had any sort of problem with alcohol, but I do think there's been times when I've leaned on alcohol to, make me have fun or make me feel good. But then when it wears off, it's like I feel worse, or I make low frequency decisions then, which would be like, texting somebody I shouldn't, or doing something I'm not proud of, staying up too late, skipping my workout class, like one low frequency decision a lot of the times leads to other low frequency decisions, which then just leaves you on a low frequency. So yeah, I think like that's been really, big for me, and just listening to myself and what I want to do. And if I don't want to have a glass of wine, or I don't want to have a drink at dinner, no problem, like don't do it. And I haven't been wanting to. And I was just with my friend at dinner, and she had a glass of wine, and she was like, have you not been drinking? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, like, can I just ask why? Like, not in a way where it's like, why aren't you drinking? Like, that's bad. She was just like, oh, like, why? Like, what's up? Like, not like that there's something wrong, but she was just wondering, And I was like, I don't know, I'm just like really happy. She was like, what? I was like, I'm just really happy. We were just laughing about the way I said it. She was like, you're not, like, why aren't you drinking? I was like, I'm just really happy. She was like, okay. And I don't mean like you can't drink and not be happy, but I was just like, why ruin a good thing? Like, why? I don't need it. Like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm enjoying the food. I'm having a great time. Like, I'm really happy with myself. Like, I don't think that it's necessary. Like, I have no, no inclination to do that. And that was just like a funny moment that we had. I think we cracked up for like 5 minutes about it, because I was just like, I'm just really happy. And it was like, am I okay? Am I delusional? I don't know. So like there's that, high frequency decisions. Being in touch with the highest version of yourself is not like an easy thing. And I hate to say it, like, if you're not like the highest version of yourself, you're like a low version of yourself. It's not that by any means. I just mean like you can tell when you're like, I don't want to say again, like there's a high version, low version of yourself. It just means like you haven't maybe opened yourself up to like the greatest potential yet, or you haven't reached your full growth potential, which I don't think any of us have, and I haven't. And I think that would be perfection, and that's impossible. But there's definitely clear, times in my life where I could see I was really low or I'm really high. And that's gone up and down. And I think like this is the steadiest I've ever been. And I think I'm just like on a steady track upwards, instead of like me just feeling a high because I just, cut off the guy, or I just, was able to do this or that, or something good happened where it's like I'm on a high, but I'm going to, hit a low. Like, I don't feel like I'm on a roller coaster anymore. I just feel like I'm on a straight track upwards. When you're just feeling like not in tune with yourself, not great, or like your energy's been thrown off, how you can get back to yourself is, one, like I said, making high frequency decisions. So constantly thinking about the future version of me. Is this benefiting me? Making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, surrounding yourself with a good environment. I've been keeping my apartment really clean, and, just making sure that everything is nice. And I've honestly been putting more care into myself too, and just taking the time every day to like, put on some makeup, like do things that make me feel good, put on some extra jewelry. Like, I've been wearing my jewelry again, and that's been really nice. Like, just putting a little bit more effort into myself to show myself like I love myself, I care about myself. I think that's really important when wanting to like feel like good about yourself again. And that's all, that's exterior things. But interior wise, like getting back to yourself is, I've been doing a lot of like, I've always done this, visualization, which is like manifestation, and I do want to touch on something that the pastor said about manifestation. So let me just back pocket that. When I am manifesting, when I'm journaling, all these things, I take a moment to close my eyes and to visualize. You have to put yourself in a positive place. And again, what this woman said, who I talked about earlier, Maury Fontanes. I really liked what she said about visualization, which is that our brain needs evidence, so it has to visualize things in order to accept them. Isn't that so interesting? Which is why just, writing down, I want a dog, that's not really gonna work. That's great. You can write that all you want. Or just saying to yourself, I want a dog, I want a dog. Cool. But like, where's the evidence? Like, how are we getting this dog? Like, where is it coming from? But then to close your eyes and to see yourself, adopting a dog, with the specific dog, taking it on a walk, playing with it in the park, it sitting in your, living room. To see that with your brain is to believe that. It will then be reflected into your reality, because to your brain that has happened. That's a feeling that's happening right now. Like when you close your eyes and you see that, like I'm closing my eyes and I'm seeing myself with the dog right now. And I'm filled with like this like warmth and happiness and joy. And that's like the emotion that I would have if I was sitting playing with a dog right now that I really wanted. My body is like, I mean, yes, like that very well could have happened, did happen, and will happen because you feel it. So how could it not be true? So our brains need that visual to see it happening. And I think like if you follow a lot of people on TikTok who talk about manifestation, they will always tell you close your eyes and picture yourself in a room with this person and saying exactly what you want to say to them and them reacting how you want them to react, and then that'll happen. Or like visualize that text message coming up on your phone and exactly what it's going to say, and like feel that actual emotion that you would feel if you received that message, and like take that feeling with you throughout the entire day. So that's like after you manifest, it's not just like, okay, now I can just boop, 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 go about my life and be upset or be this or that. Whatever emotion that you felt in that moment, you take that with you and you use it throughout the entire day. You lead your life with that emotion. And that is how you like get in touch with yourself and the things that you want, and how you find alignment with the highest version of yourself. You know what it is? It's meeting the highest version of yourself. It's like seeing that version of you and how you would feel in that moment. That's you being able to connect with that highest version of yourself, like that version of you that you want. And when you take on that emotion, it's like, I am that version of me now, actually. And I can be that version. Like I am that version. I am that person. So take on that version of you and lead throughout your day. And even though that might be that not exactly what your 3D looks like right then, it eventually will. It will get there. And it's really just about like connecting with something that's greater than the version of yourself right now, then that's greater than yourself, is feeling something bigger. And what I have to say about that and manifestation and feeling that there's something bigger is that intuition that's inside of you. And whether or not you believe in God or you're religious, I will say like, I never thought I was. I used to always say like, I'm spiritual, I'm this, I'm that. But like my intuition, my what I would say, like the universe and all these things, or when I would feel that gut feeling, like that was God inside of me speaking through me. That was something bigger than me. That wasn't like me, like that voice in my head, like it's me, but it's something's leading me that way. Like something is telling me something. The pastor this past weekend, Erwin, his name was, I just remembered, Erwin McManus, was like, I hate when people say that they're spiritual and they manifest and all this stuff and they say that they don't believe in God, which, listen, believe in whatever you want. I respect your boundaries. I respect all that stuff. But again, this is something that I now believe in, so I'm going to share it. And you don't have to agree with me, but I'm sharing it because maybe you do, or it could change your mind or whatever it is. He was like, how can you believe in manifesting and that there's something bigger and you're getting in touch, like I just said, like how I was just saying, like you're getting in touch with this something bigger than you, a version of you that isn't there right now, like something that's not actually happening right now, but in your brain you can make it happen. You can see a higher version or better things for yourself. Like how can you believe in that and not believe in God? For me, it was like that was God. The universe is God. And that's like the flip that switched inside of me, where why I became so comfortable with my faith so quickly was because I was like, I was putting all my faith in the universe, but the universe was God. Like the universe has been God this entire time for me. I think why I've also just felt so much lighter and so much at peace is because I've taken a really heavy weight that I was bearing with me, and I've released it and trust God that everything that's presented to me is happening for a reason. And it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and everything's happening in the right timing. And I think once I was able to release control of like needing to control the narrative and needing answers and needing this and that and just, whatever, I was able to be like a lot lighter and to just go through life trusting that everything's going to be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not over. If it's not okay, that's not my person. If it's not okay, that wasn't made for me. I just feel like that's why I've been able to like lead with such like a lighter approach to a lot of things and just feel like so much lighter and happier day to day, is because I'm like, well, it's been written for me, so whatever happens, happens. And like, I'm just gonna show up as like the best version of myself and who I truly am at my core, be the truest version of myself so that I'm able to find alignment sooner and everything will make sense eventually. I also want you to know that when there's times that you are doubting yourself and you're questioning life, or you're questioning if you should do something or something's holding you back, I want you to know that that fear that you feel, that questioning that you feel, that inner narrative that's being spoken to you, that voice that's maybe not being the most positive, those are made up too. Those fears are made up. That's something that is a way of you that you've, told yourself to protect yourself. Or even if you're hearing maybe some negative feedback from other people or people who aren't supporting you around you, that's their own fears being projected onto you because they told themselves that to protect themselves. And you have to look at that and think, is this fear serving me? Is not going for this serving me? Or is it taking away from me really doing something amazing or taking away from my greatness? So think about that next time, something's stopping you from doing something. Is like, is me not doing that serving me? And I think when you think about it from that way, you're able to be like, oh, well, fuck that fear. I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to serve myself today. Something else that I recently heard was that self-love cures the world. When you pour into yourself, when you serve yourself, when you heal yourself, when you love yourself, you will then heal the people around you. You'll fix the people around you with your own love for yourself. And then those people, hopefully they're doing the same, will give themselves so much love that they then spread the love to other people. And I think love is always the answer. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know if this episode was all over the place, made any sense. To me, it made sense. I was going in a lot of different directions in terms of like connecting with people and connecting with yourself and your intuition and trusting your gut and making sure that you're not getting in the way with yourself. And I really hope that that came across as the overall message. I hope that for those of you who've seen me grow, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate all your messages. I love hearing from you girls. And I love meeting you girls in person too. I've met a few of you in person recently, but like, I hope that me talking about this and kind of why I feel like you guys are noticing a change in me and why I've noticed a change in me is that you can realize that you can have it too. And it's happening for you too. And you just have to open yourself up and you just have to accept it and you just have to trust yourself and get in touch with yourself. And when you're in touch with yourself, you can get in touch with other people. And when we're in tune with ourselves, when we're in tune with other people, when we connect deeper with other people, everything around us becomes stronger. And then the world will become stronger. And that's an amazing thing. I love you all so much, but make sure, like I said, I never love you more than you love yourself. I hope you have an amazing day. Make sure you're following me here on YouTube, Nicole Doyan. I know I've been slacking a little bit on the vlogs. I've just felt really overwhelmed a little bit recently and just been enjoying life, but I will get back to posting vlogs. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you like just my lifestyle, or I don't know, maybe cooking. I feel like I've been in my cooking era again recently. Maybe, do some baking stuff for you guys. But also follow me on TikTok, Nicole_Doyan. Snapchat, I post my day-to-day on there. You can see what I eat, what I do to work out, what I'm wearing, blah, 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 all on there as well. Nicole Doyan, and Instagram, Nicole Doyan. Make sure you come back next week for your girl therapy. We'll talk soon. Bye.